Okay, let's talk about one of the most common and, let's be real, most awkward social moments we all go through. You meet someone new, they tell you their name, and then poof, it's just gone. So what is actually going on in our brains when that happens?
I mean, seriously, has this happened to you? You're shaking their hand, you're making eye contact, you hear the name crystal clear, and by the time you've turned away, it has completely vanished. You're left standing there thinking, oh no, am I just rude? Do I have a terrible memory?
Well, I'm here to tell you, based on what cognitive psychology shows us, it is absolutely not your fault. It's not about being rude, and it's not a memory problem. Something way deeper, and frankly, a lot more interesting is happening inside your head.
We're going to call this whole thing the 3-second blank. And here's the key thing to understand. This isn't a bug in your system. Nope, it's actually a feature. So let's take a look at what that feature is designed to do.
So let's just get this out of the way right now. Most people think forgetting a name is a sign you're careless or maybe not that smart. But in reality, your brain is just doing a very specific and honestly a very aggressive kind of information filtering. It's deciding what's important and what isn't. And you know what? Names almost never make the cut. And there are two big reasons for this. The first one might really surprise you.
So, the first major culprit is what happens to your brain the instant you're introduced to someone. You go into what we can call social mode, and that's when your focus gets completely hijacked.
And this really shows you what's going on with what psychologists call divided attention. While you're hearing the name Alex, your brain isn't just listening, oh no. It is running this frantic checklist of social anxieties in the background. You're not actually encoding the name because all your brain power is being used to manage the social interaction itself.
You see, all that social pressure puts your brain into this state of mild stress. Your focus literally shifts from listening and absorbing to worrying about how you're being perceived. And when that happens, your ability to store new, random bits of data, like a person's name, just tanks. But hey, even if you were perfectly calm, your brain has another reason for ditching that name.
So yeah, even if you were cool as a cucumber, your brain has another, more fundamental reason for instantly forgetting names. And it's this. To your brain, a name is basically useless information. It craves meaningful data, not empty labels.
In cognitive psychology, a name is what's known as an arbitrary label. Think about it. It's just a sound, a collection of letters that has no built-in connection to the person it represents. It doesn't tell you anything about their job, their personality, anything useful.
This is such a perfect way to think about it. It's a famous concept called the Baker/Baker paradox. If I tell you a person's last name is Baker, you'll probably forget it. But if I tell you the person is a baker, that they bake bread for a living, you're way more likely to remember. Why? Because the name Baker, like John here, is just an arbitrary label. It carries no data. But the job baker or doctor is a meaningful label that creates images and ideas in your head. Your brain just latches on to meaning.
And here's where it gets really fascinating. Evolution has equipped our brains with some very specific tools for social survival. For instance, your brain has a highly specialized area dedicated entirely to recognizing faces. A face is a goldmine of data. It tells you about emotion, health, intent. It's why you can see someone you haven't seen in 10 years and instantly know you recognize them. And the punchline? It has absolutely zero dedicated space for storing names. None. We are evolutionarily wired to remember what people look like, but the verbal tags we attach to them, that's a relatively new invention. So when you try to attach a name to a face, your brain just doesn't know what to do with it. It's got nowhere to put it.
Okay, so if our brains are basically designed to forget names, are we just doomed to a lifetime of awkwardness? Not at all. The key is to consciously work with your brain's preferences. We need to forge a link to turn that useless label into a memorable anchor.
So the most important thing to get is this. Your memory isn't a filing cabinet. It's more like a web. Your brain remembers things best when they're connected to something you already know. So when a name just floats into your brain as this isolated, unattached piece of data, it's incredibly easy for your brain to just let it go. And that's why you forget it.
So the solution is to consciously build that web yourself. The next time you hear a name, don't just move on. Take a deliberate pause, and I mean just for a second. In that tiny moment, create a mental link. It can be a visual, a rhyme, a connection to someone else you know with that same name. You are actively anchoring that arbitrary label to a piece of data that's already in your brain.
And yes, the weirder the association you make, the better. This example is perfect. It's a little silly, it's super visual, and it's almost impossible to forget.
You're giving your brain the memorable, meaning-rich image it's craving and then attaching that boring, arbitrary label, John, to it. It's a simple little brain hack, and trust me, it really works.
And finally, I want to leave you with a really powerful way to reframe all of this. If you're someone who struggles with names more than others, it's not a sign that you're deficient. In fact, it might just be a sign of the exact opposite. You see, forgetting names can actually be a side effect of having a highly active mind, a mind that's constantly analyzing, looking for deeper patterns, and running complex simulations about the world around you. This is the kind of mind that instinctively filters out what it considers to be low-value data, like an arbitrary name, so it can focus on the big picture. It's not forgetful, it's just busy with more important stuff.
So the next time you blank on a name, don't feel bad. Don't feel embarrassed. Just remember this. Your brain is a powerful, meaning-seeking machine, not a tape recorder. You're not broken, you're just wired differently. And when you really understand that, you can start to see yourself and your brain in a whole new light.